79th Halas, what it is, what it do. Since Bobby Ingham, Curtis Ennis, know that we been loyal even when we wasn't winning. A trusted source for the news. 79th Halas.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of 79th Halas, episode 244, man. This is training camp recap, man. It is your boy Scott. You know to follow me on all social media platforms at Barberchair Scott. Got my brother Flows here. You can follow him at Flows Andolini on all social media platforms as well. You can also follow 79th Halas, the 79th and Halas, and of course you can follow us on Patreon. Subscribe to Patreon, patreon.com/barberschair network, man. We're back. How we feeling?
I'm feeling interesting. I don't know what's the definite mood for how I feel right now or what I would describe it as, but I'm okay. I mean, I'm in a weird spot, I would say, at least with Bears football.
Why is it a weird spot?
I think the weirdest thing right now is that I don't know how to feel as a fan, because if you've read my article is up right now, the bcnet.com, you will know that I'm faced with a little bit of trepidation. The trepidation being that the Bears seem like they're truly changing as an organization. They have the tools, the people, the know-how. But at the same time, I remember so much of what made the Bears the Bears. And I'm tempted to fall back into that bit of, I won't say hysteria, but melancholiness, if that's a word. So, interesting way to feel right now.
Definitely, man. I tweeted the live link on the 79th Halas page because we're having streaming issues with the page. So I just copied and pasted the actual link on the 79th Halas page now, so hopefully y'all can watch on there, man. Yeah, I mean, I don't feel melancholy about it. I feel good about it. I mean, I feel like a lot of Bears fans, I think we're just now trying to get used to this new life of an organization that does stuff that makes sense, a quarterback that might actually be really good, a team that might actually be pretty good. I know it's only four practices so far that we've seen is, nothing too crazy. They only even put on the pads for another 2 days. But yeah, man, I've liked what I've seen these first 4 practices, and I'm ready for the rest of it. I'm pretty tired right now. A lot of people don't know that this is training camp for the media too. There's a lot of walking you got to do, a lot of driving you got to do, especially if you live in the city, going to and from Lake Forest,
Especially the south side. If we live on the north side, let's say me and you lived in Rogers Park, and we were trying to get to Lake Forest, it'd be a much quicker drive to this. Probably 30-minute drive, if that. Going from the south side, which is the exact opposite end of the city as where Rogers Park is nuts. So that it's, I don't know. We look upon trade cap. It's interesting. Speaking of how Flus was talking to the media this week, and we all walked in. Maybe it was Tuesday, Monday, can't remember. I see you guys had some shade. We'll bring you all some lemonade next time. We laughed, and I was like, that was a snarky comment to Steve, King Kayla. Said, you all have some shade. I bring you all some lemonade. And it's like, well, you're not out there with the players. You're not out there slaving in the heat. It's like, true. The media is not out there. At the same time, we're not millionaires. We're not 100,000aires. We're trying to cover a team. And if it's like me and Scott who do it for the love of the game, it's a lot different. We in there and we have to drive 40, 50 miles, an hour and a half or so to get there. Walk a mile or walk half a mile, however far it is from the Abbott parking lot to there. I'm thankful for air conditioning. That's a cool thing. But
I'll be thankful for air conditioning. I'll be thankful for air conditioning up to a point. So y'all know, anybody who knows me know I'm not fond of air conditioning unless it's like 1 billion degrees. Like, black people love air conditioning and like being on fuck you mode. Like, where it's just too hot. I'll be bringing my hoodie to Halas Hall because after a while it'd be too cold, bro. Too cold. You appreciate it when you've been in that long walk from the Abbott parking lot heading over to Halas Hall, or you appreciate it when you're, been out in practice for a couple hours, you come inside, you definitely appreciate it then. But after that, I'll be kind of straight on it, man. I'm not gonna lie about it, man. I'll be kind of straight, but it's been fun. This is what camp is this for you?
I think this is our 5th year covering the team, 4th. It's my fourth because the first year was COVID. I couldn't cover them during COVID. I mean, I think I probably only went to one practice during COVID. Second year was Matt Nagy's last year.
Yeah, Matt Nagy. No, Matt Nagy's last year was no, you're right. Yeah, 2021 was my first year. Was Nagy's last year.
So then, it's been 4 training camps. They all kind of.
I
didn't go. I think it's my third full attended training camp. I think.
Yeah, this is my third camp. This is my second full attended camp. Okay. 2021, I joined the beat in week 5, which was Justin's first. Touchdown was thrown at that game in Vegas. I was there for his first touchdown. I was there for his last touchdown as a Bear. So I was there for that. And then in 2022, I went to a couple training camp practices towards the end of camp, but I didn't do the full camp. I did like the final 2 weeks of camp. And then when it came to last year was my first full camp. So this is my second full camp. So I learned a lot more. I learned, how to move around and things like that compared to how it's been these last couple of years, man. So that's been cool, man. So we're veterans of this now, man. It's the 4th season for me, 5th season for you. We've seen a lot over this time.
It might be the first training camp I don't get my ID pulled and I actually have to see your ID, because even last year I'm like, this is my fourth year here. Like, I see your ID, and it'd be the same person who asked for my ID.
I think it's also because a lot of them don't work there no more. We've been there longer than majority of the staff now. There's been a lot of people. There's been a lot of people who weren't here doing OTAs.
I think the only staff member who's been there is Aaron, though people don't know him, but me and Scott do. Aaron was there since I started. Aaron had been there for years.
You'll see Aaron a lot on Hard Knocks. You'll see him a lot on 1920 Football Drive. You just don't know you see him.
Like, dude, Shades, Caesar, 5'7", 5'8", something like that.
El Jefe of the Bears communications team.
El Jefe, that is the boss.
That is the boss. Shout out to him. Shout out. I just want, and one observation I made during OTAs, because I did almost all of the off-season workouts. I did OTAs. I did mandatory rookie camp. I did all the stuff that that I usually don't do. And one thing I've noticed is I was on the field, like at one of the final OTAs. I'm like, it was me, a couple of other Bears media members. Ryan Poles was right there. Kevin Warren was right there. And I was like, there's a lot of niggas on this field. And not just like as the players, like people like in the organization, like people on the training staff, people in the executive, in the front office, a lot of black people. So I got to give a shout out to George McCaskey. Got to give a shout out to Kevin Warren. Got to give a shout out to Ryan Poles, because that kind of stuff matters. I also got to give a shout out to you, because you called George McCaskey out 3 years ago about, having more of a presence, what I'm saying, with younger people and having black people in there. And he said something that, we're looking into that. And obviously he's paid off what he said.
I agree. It's I'm interested to have a conversation with him. And George is typically out for training camp. Fan days, the first fan day is what, Friday?
Yeah.
So he'll be out Friday. He'll probably be out and about with the people, mingling. And we'll probably see him. But I would love to ask him, and I asked you a question however many years ago it is, about bringing younger people into the building. And how would you view what you've done so far? Like, what do you view your success as? And I got to be honest, they've done a good job. And that's what brings me in this weird mood that sometimes I hesitate to not fall back on that Bears pessimism, is because George has done a good job these past, going into his 3rd year with Poles. 3rd year? Yeah,
this is Poles. Poles got hired January 2022. So this is
going to his 3rd year. In terms of diversity, the 2 highest people in that organization outside of the executive level, being George himself, are black men.
Yeah.
In addition to that, the head of Bears communication, so black man.
Assistant general manager,
it's black man.
Black man.
And underneath Aaron,
quarterback, black. Yeah. When have you ever seen this for the Bears?
And what we forget about, people forget about diversity also includes not it just being men.
Mm-hmm.
Women in positions of authority, women helping with training on the training staff.
Women on the coaching staff.
Women on the coaching staff. So I'm very impressed with what George McCaskey is doing. I would be disingenuous if I did not give him his due. That being said, we know how the Bears are, and you're not a good organization until you're a good organization. For years, when I was younger, like the Chiefs were not a good organization. When I was younger, Priest Holmes was good, 1,000-yard rusher. Larry Jones was good. Larry Johnson was good, 1,000-yard rusher. But that's about it. They weren't really a good organization top to bottom. And with the arrival of Andy Reid, signaled that change. And then, of course, you had Alex Smith, who I think had a solid brief career with them. And then, of course, you toss in Patrick Mahomes, and now they're a 3-time Super Bowl champion under Andy Reid. And that's why now they're a great organization. When Scott had his little brief quote with Patrick Mahomes, and then talking about it with another reporter, he was like, man, what is it like to cover a good organization? So you're not a good organization until you're a good organization. The truth of the matter. So the Bears, they're doing a lot of good things right now, which may place them on that path, that trajectory of being a good organization. Or it won't. I don't have an expectation, but I am impressed with what I see so far.
One thing we're doing, and by the way, this is season 10 of this podcast. Season 10. I want to give a shout out to us, because a lot of niggas always say you're not a podcaster until you do 50 episodes. Then you're official podcaster. You know what I'm saying? This is episode 244, my nigga. 244. We started this in 2015 when podcasts weren't even big like that. You know what I'm saying? So, and we wouldn't be able to do this without y'all. You know, I see a lot of people shouting us out, man. But we started as a podcast. We had no intentions of making this a career. When we started this 9 years ago, bro, it wasn't like, oh, we were trying to. No, we were just, you know, I moved to LA. We weren't able to have our Bears talk outside of being on the phone. I knew Combat Jack, RIP to Combat Jack, the Podfather. I feel like if you're a black podcast out there, you either took something from Combat Jack that you knew or you didn't know. You know what I'm saying? I said black podcast.
I saw Order OT's comment says, Flow summer vacation is coming to an end. Relax.
No, I'm gonna get to one of Orlando's comments in a minute. We're gonna get there.
Gravity Bears is nuts.
This is for Africans only.
You ain't even black. You ain't even black. See that? You see the naps in my hair, brother?
You ain't even black.
You ain't got the naps in your hair, bro. I want to hear it.
Shout out to Alex, fans since 2017. We appreciate you. When we made this, we didn't have no intentions of making this as a career. I didn't have even when we were doing 79th Halas, I didn't take this as seriously as a career. So honestly, like when I started, I'm not gonna hold you 3 years ago, but I'm gonna be real. I didn't really like have a plan and like chase this 2 years ago. When I reached out to Mikey, Courtney, Bain to do, I'm not gonna hold you. That's when I was like, oh no, I want to do this full time as a career. 79th Halas just started off as fun, and before you know it, we're in the media. And even if you watch the show, we went from being super all over the top fan to now we still got our fan in us, but I feel like we have a healthy balance of fan and media member too at the same time. So those classic rants that I used to go on, those classic rants that you don't go on, those don't happen as much as they used to. But it's been fun, man. So I really want to have fun this 10th season. We're gonna give you a lot more access this season. But to go off what you were saying about you know, having that type of diversity, it matters a lot. And like you said, it might not. Maybe we're about to begin another age of golden age of Bears football that ain't been seen since the 80s, and maybe we're not. I think we're both, at least me and you, have accepted this could go really, really well, or it can't. But as a Bears fan, I don't think it can get any worse than what it's been in my life as a Bears fan. Even if Caleb doesn't become what we think he's gonna be, and I don't think there's any, but I think at the absolute worst that nigga be Phillip Rivers. I think at the absolute worst he'll be Phillip Rivers, and honestly, I can live with that. You know what I'm saying? You can win with that. But what I'm saying is the Bears swung. Even if they missed, they swung. How many times they actually swung? I mean, swing. Not we're gonna go out here and get an all-time Hall of Fame defensive end of Khalil Mack. We're gonna have our bum quarterback that we hope is good, and we're gonna give him guys like Allen Robinson and Taylor Gabriel, and so hope that
man.
Yeah. No, this is real. We got this phenom who's been in number one prospect since he was in grammar school. Since he was in grammar school, all lives been. We're gonna take him. Not only we're gonna take him, we're gonna give him the best landing. And this is my hot take. that I think a lot of people agree. I think this is the best spot for a rookie in sports since Magic Johnson got drafted in 1979. I don't think there's been a better team for a rookie who's starting right away. Magic came in with Kareem. You know what I'm saying? They won the championship his rookie year. Not saying the K was going to do that, but they're saying, yo, we got a rookie, and to avoid a rookie pitfalls, we're going to go out there. We already got our number one wide receiver in DJ Moore. We're going to add a little, what LeBron say? We got 2 more for you. We're going to go out there and go trade for a potential Hall of Fame wide receiver in Keenan Allen. We're going to go out there and sign one of the best running backs in the game in DeAndre Swift. We're going to sign another backup tight end in Garrett Everett, who's the end zone threat, pair him up with our star tight end, Cole Kmet. We're going to take number 9. This is when I knew the Bears was a new franchise. Every other Bears regime would have went defense at pick 9, especially after getting their quarterback. Ryan Poles said, nah, we're going to go get Rome Odunze. And if you watched Hard Knocks last night for the Giants, oh my God, Joe Schoen needs to be fired. He actually thought that he could go. He thought he was going to be able to trade up to get Jaden Daniels, and then he was going to be able to do a trade with Ryan Poles. So he could go back and get Neighbors or Odunze. He said, "Oh yeah, Poles will trade up for offensive lineman. You got Ryan Poles messed up." So these are things they're doing. So even if it doesn't go well, they tried. That's all you can ask for as a fan. Football, more than anything. I think Mark Potter said this on. I forgot what day it was. We were walking back from the field, and he said, more than anything, the Bears haven't even had a run where they've just been competitive every year since the 80s. Super Bowl is a toss-up. Do we all hope this Caleb run ends in a Super Bowl or multiple Super Bowls? 100%. But it's such a toss-up. As long as the Bears in the conversation for the next 5-10 years, even if we don't get one, I'm like, okay, that's still a good run. You know what I'm saying? Of course, you got to make some NFC championship games. I like to appear in the Super Bowl. But that's all you can hope. Just get in there, man. It kind of feels like for the first time, at least in my lifetime, they're doing it the right way.
I agree 100%. I like the way how you put it, that it's about really swinging. It's about swinging more than anything. It's about the fact that you're willing to put yourself on the line and throw your chips out there and put your chips on the table and try to be the best that you can be. And the Bears for so long, Chicago sports period for so long, have not done that. And the fact that the Bears are doing that, they're actively trying to make themselves better and then doing something Bears really don't do, put their players in a position to succeed.
Yeah.
That is noteworthy. That is a positive experience. It's a positive thing. And I just feel like if you're media covering them, you don't have to feel that you need to be negative or so neutral that you're appearing negative. Yeah. I think it's okay to give credit where credit is due. Justin Fields, as much as I love the Buckeye, as much as I appreciated his 2 years at Ohio State, he had promise, but was not enough shown on tape, not enough shown on the field. And they recognize that, and they recognize that, you know what, we're going to go ahead and we're going to get a bona fide stud from high school to college, and now, of course, as a prospect in the NFL. And I have nothing but respect for that. And it's funny, I was on 24/7 Sports. If you ever want to look up, at least for me, the best possible rankings for positional players in football in high school, it's definitely 24/7 Sports. But I'm looking at his ranking when he was a prospect, and he was number 1 in DC, number 2 quarterback in the entire country, number 8 number 8 nationally, because it's still, they do position rankings, but they also do according to.
Was it number 1 in DC or the entire DMV?
It just said number 1 in DC. Okay. So DMV, I have no clue. But it was number 1 in DC, and it was number 2 quarterback. I don't remember who was ahead of him, but number 2 quarterback, and then 8 nationally. Like he was a stud. Bear in mind, Justin Fields was definitely one of those people when he was in high school. I have to look it up to be 100% sure. But he was definitely one of those kids in high school who were very well ranked when
he was on a Netflix show, QB1. That's how I know.
He was number 2 nationally. Both studs. That being said,
Lawrence was number 1.
Yeah. That being said, he was not the same as it was in college. And of course, transfer. When Caleb Williams was a transfer, he was the number one person on that transfer, even though it was very brief as he went from Oklahoma to USC. So all of that being said, I have to give the Bears credit. They have diversified the team. It represents the country, the melting pot that is America. What makes America great is not one people group, not one ethnicity, not one culture. It is all of our cultures coming together to work for a common goal. And the Bears have become a much more diverse team, and I'm excited. I'm excited, and I like the comment that Bobby Thompson made is that the Rome pick changed his mind. The Rome pick changed his mind. The Rome pick probably was the part where I said, "Oh," because it's like, yeah, you'll get Caleb, but we'll probably get somebody disappointed with the second. Like, oh no, you went for it, and like you took your time. You got the pick because I remember when they got when Ryan Poe's first draft, we're like, what? You should have got it was George Pickens, I believe, was it?
Yeah, everybody wanted George Pickens. His first pick was Kyler Gordon.
Yeah,
and now looking back, what 2 years later?
It's a good pick.
Good pick. Jaquan Brisker, good pick. I like George Pickens, but he's definitely not what everybody. Not granted, George Pickens playing with some bums, so I'm gonna shoot him some bill. I think he's gonna have a great year this year playing with either Russ or Justin. But yeah, we all wanted Pickens. But if you'd told me in 2 years, nigga, you gonna have DJ Moore and Keenan Allen. Obviously, I didn't know who Roma Dunze was at the time because I wasn't a college football watcher. But I didn't know he went to Gorman. It was like high school football elites.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But if you'd told me in 2 years, you're gonna have DJ Moore and Keenan Allen, I'm like, nigga, huh? Like, yeah, I'll do that. And the thing too, which is amazing about it is that trade. Well, I think when all this is said and done, that trade that Ryan Poles made, was it March 1st? March something of 2023 might be one of the greatest trades in NFL history. Potential. Because the deal's not done yet. The deal's not done yet. Orlando just said, wait till this is very wild that you said, wait till Paul whoops out.
I think Orlando. Nigga is Orla.
Orla. But they have enough picks where if they wanted to go get a Parsons and pay him, they could do that. By the way, I think Jerry would trade him over his dead body. But if that was the option, you can do so many things with that first round pick. You're finna give him Carolina. With that second round pick, the trade's not over. There's so many other options. He set this team up for so much. You at his opening press conference. I wasn't there. Are you shocked at how quickly this came together in just it's the third season, but just in 2 calendar years? Are you shocked that if future you would have told past you when you sit in that Halas Hall in the bigger room that they need to use because there's more national media there now. If you were sitting there and future Joe tells you, oh yeah, in a year from now, you're gonna have Caleb Williams. Of course, we all know who Caleb Williams was 2 years ago. He just came off either he's about to win Heisman or he just came off winning Heisman. I think he's about to win Heisman. And you're gonna have Caleb Williams, you're gonna have DJ Moore, you're gonna have Keenan Allen, you're gonna have this kid named Roma Dunze, you're gonna have DeAndre Swift. You're gonna have a top 5, top 10 defense. That defense was not good at the time. What would you have said in the future in just 2 years?
I would have laughed at you saying it was going to be such a quick turnaround. Of course, I will caution it's not still have to see it on the field, but to see what they've done in this amount of time, like a good organization would, is thoroughly shocking. It's thoroughly shocking. I probably would have laughed at myself.
Yeah, thoroughly shocking. It's been, and it's unreal because if I wasn't part of the media side, I feel like I'd be 30 times more excited than I am right now. Yeah. But I think the beautiful part about it that we're in the blessed part. I look, man, this don't get old. This don't get old. When we were sitting there yesterday, I was sitting there like, bro, we really sitting here in the media section watching Caleb Williams go through his progressions. Nobody else outside of the people that are here can watch this right now. Still very surreal. And so to go through all that, to see the process, it makes me feel a little bit better. You know what I'm saying? And I've accepted either way this can go. And I think both of us, that's why it's going to be fun. And the last couple seasons was tough. Last year, I think both of us, we were both like, man, I don't know how much longer I can do this. Like, we doing all this traveling and watching losses. Yeah. It wears on you. And
because eventually it's not fun anymore. It just becomes, it's not even a good job. This is annoying. So I agree.
Yeah, we're very grateful for the opportunity. And you were talking about how like Chicago media. One thing, this is the first time, at least since I've been covering, where I feel like all the Chicago media on the same page. You know, Bears fans look at Dan Weeder. Me and Joe, I'm Dan, my guy. I ain't got no problem with Dan Weeder. Like I said, he cool to me. Dan, he tweeted like, "Hey, stuff I'm seeing from Caleb, he kind of nice." And he don't give nobody credit like that.
So that's why I like Dan is that Dan will take his time before he ever crowns anybody.
Yep, exactly. For Dan to say that, and I see this one clip, Adam Hogan, Adam Johns, shout out my boy Johns. They were doing the Hogan Johns podcast, and Hogan was like, what you think about Caleb? And John's like, he's good. So I feel like that's been the overall feeling. I think we're gonna see more of it on Friday when the pads actually go on. You're gonna see a lot more. But what's your take from the 3 practices that you've been at?
Good. It's his quickness and getting rid of the ball. Because one of the struggles with Bears QBs as of recent was getting the ball out. So if you got a screen, it's boop, throw, really quick, or set your feet and throw, rather than throw, set, catch, set, then throw. Making decisive decision. It's like I don't see a pump fake. I'm throwing it immediately to when the person is there. Taking what the defense gives them. So if the ball is, if the middle of the field is covered, if the flats are covered, if the middle of the field is covered, the flats aren't covered, you're taking it. If over top is covered, but you have a quick in or a quick out route, you're going to take it. If you have a player who's going to run a hitch and another player is running a comeback, supposed to go to the comeback first, but it's not there, I'm going to take the hitch. You got a player who's running a corner, the other player's running a post corner, something crazy, I'm going to take what's there. That is what Bears QBs have struggled with. And this is not even shade on Justin Fields. This is going back to freaking Rex Grossman. If the route that you have is your primary is not there, your first read isn't there, taking what's there. Bear in mind, this is all training camp. So I know things can change. And when the men get on the field and they start hitting, that's very different. But seeing Caleb just taking what's there, because I've seen quarterbacks during training camp like, oh, man, a nice hit, a big play, but it's like the simple isn't there. And so seeing what's happening now has definitely been a sigh of relief, but also a bit strange. And so, like I said, I don't know where to go from here. I don't know how am I supposed to feel? And it's hard to fight, like I said on Twitter, 15-year-old Joe who is just, I'm a true Bears fan. I've been through heartbreak. I'm feeling it. Versus, something's good's happening, and it's okay to feel excited about it.
I always make this comparison because it's true. It kind of feels like somebody, man or woman, who's been in a lot of emotionally abusive relationships, and they finally get into a good one, and you're like, what's the catch? Why is she so nice? Why is he so nice? Why does he open the door for me? Why does she actually care for me? So why is she doing these things for me? That's kind of how Bears fans feel right now a little bit when it comes to this. And I just say this. I said this, I'm not going to hold you a couple weeks ago. I'm going to say it again. Be free to fall in love. You know what I'm saying? Like, and especially with everything that we've been through with all the quarterbacks, like, the Justin Fields situation, the Mitch Trubisky, Rex Grossman, Greg Krenzel. We've been all day naming quarterbacks post Jim McMahon. Even though I'm a Jay Cutler guy on the football field, I don't really care about Jay off personal Jay. On the football, I was a Jay guy. Jay was a good quarterback. Jay just had 800 offensive coordinators. He had the worst offensive line in Bears history. You know what I'm saying? There were so many other things that went with that. When he finally got a good offense for the first time in the history of the franchise, the defense was trash. So there was so many other things that went involved with that. It feels like it's finally all coming together. And I tweeted this yesterday when we were coming back from practice. And there was a couple people who were upset about what I said. And I said, look, this is no shade to the last quarterback. Y'all know I love Justin Fields. I'm still rooting for Justin Fields. I don't want nothing physically to happen to Russell Wilson, but it would not make me mad if he's trash this year so my boy can play. So I still got love for Justin. I know you got extra love for Justin because he's a Buckeye. You're going to always – I'm rooting for Justin. But I was at them last 2 training camps. Shout out my man Greg Braggs. I remember sitting next to Braggs in one of the camp practices last year. And Braggs was like, yo, why they not doing any deep passes? You know what I'm saying? Like, and this is like when pads were going on, and I didn't really pay attention. I didn't want to, overreact, but there was some things where Justin, like the things that Justin that would make you so frustrated, the flashes. He would do something so crazy, whether it was a pass or a run, and she's like, oh, this dude's got superstar written all over him. Then he'll do something like not stay up in the pocket or wait too long to hold the ball. A lot of this, 30% of the sacks last year were on Justin. Some things that he would do, and it would make it so frustrating. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So the things I've seen, kid, like I said, I've only seen 4 practices. We still got 5 more weeks of this thing. Camp ain't over till to August 29th, and we're not going to see him in an actual game for another 2 weeks because breaking news that he's not going to play at the Hall of Fame game. Yeah. Breaking news, he's not going to be at the Hall of Fame game. So you're not going to see him till they play in Buffalo in a couple weeks. They don't even take pads on till Friday. Then we'll know. There's going to be ups and downs. He's a rookie. Yeah. There's going to be ups and downs this season. You know what I'm saying? Like, period. But what I've seen so far, and one thing that stood out to me was the interviews that we've done this week with the players and especially the coaches. When the last OTA practice I was at, I had Flus, Shane Waldron, couple of offensive linemen was like, yeah, you know, I'm not Justin, but Caleb still got to get that cadence right. What they've been saying all this week, he got that in, and he got it locked down. We've seen maybe 2 false starts in the 4 days of practice.
It ain't been a lot. It ain't been a lot.
I saw a lot of them last year. I saw a lot of, and it wasn't specifically on Justin, but I saw a lot of them last year. We haven't seen a lot of them. He's been controlling the line, and even to the point where the defense is like, yeah, he's learning. And also what I love too is I love how the team is rallying around Caleb, because there's a lot of narratives out there about Caleb. He's Hollywood. He's this. He's a prima donna. He's da-da-da. Just because he's the first quarterback of the NIL era. And even you got to give it to Jalen Johnson. Jalen said Kay Adams kind of set him up with the Hollywood question right after Jalen got paid. Like, yeah, that Hollywood stuff ain't finna fly in Chicago. But then he said, I got to meet him. I was like, there's nothing Hollywood about this kid. Like, he's great. Like, DeMarcus Walker almost got offensive when it came to coming to Caleb. He's like, nah, man. He said the media, and he was like, nah, not y'all. But LA national media, they kind of, said this kid was one way, and he's not. He's the opposite. And just to see it rallying around, it kind of feels like Ryan Poles' vision is coming together. Even I don't know what he's going to be like this year. He looks more coach-wise to me, because I don't know if it's the haircut nigga or something, but it kind of feels like his plan is coming together. And what I've seen is Caleb's getting the ball out quick. You know what I'm saying? Which is something he's commanding the offensive line. He's stepping up in the pocket. And why that's so important, how many times we want Justin to step up in the pocket last year? So what I was saying was, I've seen stuff from 18 in just these 4 practices that I haven't seen in Justin for 2 years. And that wasn't on Justin. We know there was other factors that went into it. Justin didn't have the best offensive cast around him. Justin had idiots as coaches. You know what I'm saying? So there was other things that went around that. But it is what it is. And I'm cautiously optimistic. But if you're seeing this now in just 4 practices, I know it's going to look amazing in 2 weeks. So that's what I'm excited about.
Yeah, I feel the same way, man. It's just the no fit shape for Justin. No. It's just because Justin, in my personal experience with him, has fairly, engaged with me. And I never really saw Justin maybe get upset for one time. Had a scuffle with somebody, and Justin would give solid answers. He would be cooperative. And on top of that, he's a Buckeye for me, so I'm never going to talk bad about him. That's why I don't want to shade him. Like, a lot of people, when a player moves on, it's like, well, this trash, he weak. Like, oh, shit, I don't want to do any of that. I want to say, yeah, he was the start of the change that the Bears needed. And hopefully it just trends upward exponentially from here. But he wasn't the change that they needed, if that makes sense. Yeah. I sound like I'm Swiss Beats saying we got to poise on. But I'm just saying that he was start of the change. He was the start of the change. Like, he had everything moving, but he wasn't the totality of everything. And what I'm seeing with Caleb is just hard not to be excited. And the way that he just doesn't look like a rookie in camp. I have no clue what he would look like on the game. Bear in mind, he could have a game where he throws 4 interceptions. It could possibly happen.
It could happen.
Because and one thing I will say is he's gonna throw it. Like, he almost got picked off by Jack Sample. The next play, he threw medium again. And that's a good thing, because if it's one thing that we did not like with Justin was hand-holding from coaching. And I want him to be able to throw. Because I never want to see another 5 screen debacle in a row like we saw with Luke Gadsby. But what I see
I think a lot of it had to do with the coaching staff just didn't trust Justin. I think that had a lot of it to do with it too.
But what I see here, I'm very hopeful for, and I'm happy for it. I think good things are on the horizon. Well, not good thing. Besides that, I'm very happy for, and if it continues this way, good things are going to be on the horizon. And I think Bears fans should give into that feeling of being excited. It's a good thing. It's a good thing.
And I think also too, like, there's gonna be multiple parts of the progression. Like, even if Caleb starts out on fire, say he starts out on fire, 10 touchdowns, 2 picks. There's going to come a time mid-season where other defenses, okay, now we got 10 weeks of film on you, nigga. Now we're going to find your flaws. Now how do you adjust? That's what it takes to being a quarterback. Even if he has an amazing rookie season, you don't really know who you got at quarterback outside of like an anomaly like Patrick Mahomes until, honestly, I believe year 3. Joe Burrow probably the only one too. Like Joe Burrow's biggest problem is he can't stay healthy. Joe Burrow probably the only one too where you knew right away that this dude is a dude. Like it usually remember everybody loved Jalen Hurts 2 years ago. Now niggas like, can this nigga really throw the football like that? It takes stuff like CJ Stroud, amazing year last year. Jordan Love, amazing year last year. What are they gonna look like in year 2 with a year of film, a full spring and summer of being able to game plan for them? That's when you're going to really find out. So we're really not going to know if Caleb is that guy or not until season 3, unless he actually is Mahomes Jr. and it's just like no brainer. He does something crazy like 45 touchdowns or something like that. Then you will know. So it's gonna be a process. I just want Bears fans to have expectations, but at the same time, no, the kid's a rookie. The kid's a rookie. You know what I'm saying? And it can go either way. But the best thing for him, and even with I talked about the 2-minute drill the other day on Tuesday. When they went down the field real quick, they didn't put it in the end zone. I feel like he threw a little high to Rome, and the second one, Komet just, Komet gets sometimes. He let littler niggas knock the ball out of his hand. That's kind of what I felt like happened in that particular situation. But also, Keenan Allen wasn't on that play because he had a vet day, and DJ Wood didn't play that play. So in a regular game, he's going to have those two in the end zone. You know what I'm saying? So that there'll be more opportunities. So even if Caleb has the liberty or the what's the word I'm looking for? The privilege
gotcha,
of having such a good team around him that he doesn't have to be spot on all the time. There's gonna be games where he could be so. Maybe he got a 250-yard game, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks, but the defense makes a big stop. Defense gets the and one thing I like from this team, unlike last year, I feel like last year, I don't know if you thought they maybe smelled themselves a little bit. This year, they're like, nah, like I don't care what the projections say. Like we gotta go out there and we gotta
because after a while, projections just start to be like a fork in the road, more than a fork in the road, but something that is to the detriment of your team rather than a help. It's cool when you're just beginning, but after that, man, it's time to keep it going. It's time to do more.
Yeah, definitely I feel about that. But enough about Caleb. Let's move to the defense. Move to the defensive side of the ball. Defense after week 7 last year. This was a top 5 group in the NFL. Now, they started real slow last year. A lot of that, I forgot. Kyler Gordon missed for the first 4 games of the season. So far, these guys are healthy. And I say so far because it's the National Football League. It's not a matter of if they're going to get hurt. It's a matter of when they're going to get hurt and how severe they're going to get hurt. But he comes in, Joe, you asked Kyler a couple good questions, and he seems real focused of what he wants to do. DeMarcus Walker said he did way too much last season in the offseason leading into it, and that's why he was so hurt in camp and why he said he was only 75% last year. Now, this year, they have Montez Sweat for a full season. Tez didn't join the team until week 9 last year after the midseason trade that brought him over from the Commanders. He had 12 sacks last year. First player in NFL history to lead 2 teams in one season in sacks. He had 6 with the Commanders, 6 with the Bears, and finished with 12.5. So he's going to be back with a full season. The biggest question mark for me, I've said that this is my biggest concern, is not even the offensive line. The offensive line, to me, they just got to stay healthy. That's my only concern about the offensive line. Defensive line, I feel like they need more help outside of just Tez, because Tez is going to face more double teams, and who's going to be the guy who's going to make them pay for those double teams? Now, I spoke to Eric Washington yesterday. Eric Washington says he has a plan for the pass rush, which I actually believe him, because unlike the pass defensive coordinator, he won't be on Pornhub all day. So he's going to be actually focused on doing that. And from everything we've heard, they feel like even Ryan Poles said this immediate day, that they're content with their D-line. Now, if there's anybody who comes up and is reasonable, they'll sign them. But it sounds like they're pretty high on having a full season of a healthy DeMarcus Walker, the big breakout year that everybody's expecting from Javon Dexter. Are you buying the stuff that they're selling, or you still think that they probably need to make a move to help Tez out?
They still need to make a move. I don't see anything that makes me believe that they're just going to have somehow learn how to effectively rush the quarterback. And as of right now, it's just too many holes. Like this Tez is there. That's cool. Gavon Dexter had a nice little into his career, but into his season last year. But there's too many holes. You gotta fix the line. The line will still be the detriment. The linebacker core is great. The secondary is great, but they need to absolutely fix that line.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that it's possible that the Gervon has a breakout year. He's lost a lot of weight. They've been real big on him. Ted said that he took the defensive end test and he passed with flying colors. He was very talkative yesterday. You didn't see Gervon that talkative since in his rookie year. So they could do that, but I think you're relying too much on the youngins to have breakout years. We need to go out there and get you a vet. Now, this particular time of the year, there's not a lot of great vets out there. You know what I'm saying? I know Yannick is coming off an injury. Yannick, I think, was very solid in his year with the Bears. He was really, really good when Tez got there. He's met with a couple teams. He met with the Dolphins. They signed somebody else instead. He's supposed to be meeting with the Panthers on Friday. I will see what's up with him. That's my biggest concern because it doesn't matter how great your linebacker play is. Your secondary and your linebackers are only as good as your front seven. And one thing that kind of scared me a little bit is when Eric Washington said we're trying to be the number one pass rush in the league, but with the top four, really said nah, you got to send more heat. You know what I'm saying? So that's something that had me worried a little bit. But maybe we're wrong. Maybe they got some of the home run guys take that leap. But I think you're relying too much on them to take that leap instead of just going out there and signing a vet. That to me is something that I'm worried about. And the defense is they got to do it against good teams. At the end of the day, you play who you play. That's fine. You're not taking credit. Outside of Detroit, there wasn't I wasn't really impressed. I thought it was good, but I felt like they were doing a lot of stat padding towards the end of that season. So I want to see them against good defenses. Against good offenses before I say they are a top 5 squad. So I think there's a lot of question marks on that front as well. Do you have any question marks about the offensive line? I know there's going to be an actual competition for the starting center position. Coleman Shelton, who they got over from Los Angeles Rams, and then Ryan Bates, who they traded from Buffalo. There's going to be an actual competition between the two. Both have been sharing reps at center. I kind of don't like that. I feel like you need to just pick a center. You know what I'm saying? That's something that I'm not a fan of having a center competition because the center is such a very important position, as we know. It's been very bad for the Bears. I don't think the Bears have had a good center since Olin Kreutz. It's been a minute. So that's kind of concerning for me that they don't really know yet, and I feel like this is going to go down to the wire. What do you think about the competition and the overall offensive state of the offensive line?
It doesn't concern me. I mean, this competition is part of the game. Now, I get it. It's not like a quarterback where it's if you have 2 quarterbacks, you have no quarterbacks. I get that. With offensive linemen, sometimes it just happens that you have more than one player that you're trying to angle and see who is going to be the best. And if the Bears right now with Ryan Bates and Shelton, it's a good competition to have. It's a good problem to have. So right now, no, I'm not concerned. I think this will work out really well for the Bears. I don't know who will win, and I don't really have a dog in the fight. But I don't think it's a problem. I think it just comes with the territory. You're moving on from the people you had last year, and now your exterior line, even most of your interior line, is figured out. Braxton Jones is going to be your left tackle. Darnell Wright's going to be your right tackle. Nate Davis is going to be your right guard. Tevin Jenkins is going to be your left guard. It's 99.9% of the line figured out. I don't know the actuals.
Nate Davis actually been practicing.
Exactly. So
Nate Davis has been practicing.
Now, I think the right guard, and the center position is probably the one that I have most concerns about. But at the same time, I think it's a good problem to have. And it doesn't concern me or think that it will harm them in any way.
I'm glad to hear you say that. I don't really know. I think this is the health. Tevin Jenkins got to stay healthy. Nate Davis got to stay on the field, whether it's personal or health reasons. You know what I'm saying? Can Braxton Jones take a good leap? I think the boy has, but I understand why he's still on the team because that's who, that's Braxton Jones is like Ryan Poles' project that he doesn't want to let go of. So I think when healthy, at the most, there'll be a decent offensive line with the potential to get better. I expect Darnell Wright to take it to another level in year 2. So I'm not really worried about that as much as I'm worried about the defensive line. Shout out to Gustavo in the chat. He has a question for us, 2 questions for us. He said, do you guys know if Shane is coaching in the booth or down by the sideline, and does it matter where he calls the plays? I think he said he's gonna be on the sideline. I think there's something when he first got hired, it said sideline.
I'm not 100% sure.
I'm not 100%. Don't quote me on that. We haven't had a definitive answer, but I think he said sideline when he got hired. I don't think it really matters per se, but I would personally like him on the sidelines. You can always have that instant communication with Caleb, but I don't really think it matters that much. What do you think?
No, you got to do whatever you feel comfortable with. And for some offensive coordinators, that's the sideline. For others up in the booth, it doesn't really matter to me. I mean, if you feel like you will see the game better from that height, then just do it. So no, I never saw the need in that being like a defining characteristic of what makes a coach good or not. In high school, it's a little bit different. I think you need to be down there with the players for maybe less developed teams. For the biggest teams, the coaches be up there. It's at the end of the day, it's fine. Honestly, I think a head coach could also be up there. I don't think being on the sideline with grown professionals is as important as it sounds. More than anything, it needs to be clear communication. The players going out, a clear view of what you want to do, whether it be, being your first 10 plays or being how you're going to respond when you see the personnel who's out there, more than anything. So it's not that big of a deal to me.
Yeah, I think it's a very small thing at the end of the day, but I just, what I like from Shane is I like what I've heard from him. I like everything I've heard so far from the Bears, man. Is there anything that caught your eye outside of the obvious this week? Any player that might have stood out to you or, this week? One thing that kind of stood out to me was DeAndre Swift. I don't know why the Eagles let go of that nigga. I don't know why Detroit let go of that nigga. That nigga is great speed. He's a good catcher. I feel like they've been using on him a lot. I said Khalil Herbert was going to be my surprise cut or trade, but from this week, I feel like they're going to make it very hard for that decision. I think that he's been pretty good so far. I've seen a lot more Roschon. Obviously, Roschon was hurt a lot during camp last year. So I think that's going to be a battle to look on. Tyler Scott. Tyler Scott has had a good couple days. I don't know what that means roster-wise. Shane Waldron said he's right in the mix. But, this is a stacked wide receiver unit. So I don't really know. Was there anything that stood out to you from any of these players or somebody else?
I say no simply because, outside the obvious, or no, I take that back. Rome Odunze. I loved his quickness in and out of his routes. I loved his hands. I really honestly don't even know if I remember him dropping a pass. He seems to have confidence when he's out there. He moves like I belong here, even though this is my first NFL training camp. Outside of him, it's been very light. It's very light.
Everything's been very light. It's a house Tevin Jenkins. He's been practicing. He looks good. The whole offensive line has been practicing. Alex says, my take is Eric Washington will be the underrated pickup we look back at in 4 months. What I thought was interesting when Flu said that Eric Washington has been calling plays in camp. Now, he didn't say that this is going to continue in the regular season. And they've been just trying a lot of stuff these last couple of days. So maybe just something they're trying. I know some people felt like they don't want Eric Washington to call plays. They want the Bears to have the continuity from when Flus took over the play calling. Do you think it matters who calls defensive plays for them?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I love the idea of continuity with the head coach still calling because he was the person who called them. At the same time, I do like the coordinator to do the role of a coordinator. The coach is the big picture person who manages the overall team and the structure along with the person, the football operations general manager. And then the individual coaches have their job. The offensive coordinator should be the one calling offensive plays. The defensive coordinator should be the person calling plays, unless it is the opinion of the coach or the specialty to do the offense or defense. But most of the time, I prefer for the coordinators to be the one who calls the plays in collaboration with the head coach. And so I believe that it should be. I understand that continuity is important and it does concern me. But I'm always going to go with the belief that it should be the person who's the coordinator.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I think either way, I definitely think 100% it matters I if I had to pick, I would personally prefer Flus just because so they can keep it going to how it was after that. But if you decide to give the reins to Eric Washington, I don't really care either because that's what they brought him in here for. And Eric Washington has been known as a real aggressive defensive coach. That's something I think that this Bears team needs, especially the defensive line. So I think it matters, but I don't. As long as they make the decision well before the season starts, that's all that kind of matters to me. And see what Orlando put in the chat. You know, it's funny. We still don't know what the fuck happened with the last Bears defensive coordinator. Like they didn't tell us anything. Like that's
maybe it was a case of they wanted to not embarrass this person if it wasn't. I'm guessing it's not illegal because we didn't hear about it. I have no clue. I would have preferred to know just for my own nosiness, but whatever. It was enough that it was embarrassing and it damaged the reputation of the team as well as damaged the people who hired him. So whatever.
Definitely.
You're not helping the team anymore, so move on.
What was that nigga name? I forgot that nigga name already. Allen something.
Allen.
I don't know. I forgot buddy's name already. I like Eric Washington looks like Deacon Palmer from King of Queens. Yeah, he kind of like if Deacon went bald, that's what Eric Washington looks like. Final topic, man, of the night before we get up out of here. Hard Knocks. Hard Knocks is full at work, man. I finally know what it's like to shoot a reality show with them HBO cameras is on every corner that you turn in Halas Hall. You really see just how intricate the thing is. Like if you think everybody on the NFL Films crew look tired, they got to be all over that joint. I ain't seen a smile on none of them niggas' face. They got to lug them heavy cameras around. Like they got to get every angle. There's microphones everywhere. DJ was stretching right in front of us. And there was a camera in this nigga face like this as he's stretching. We saw a conversation with Eric Washington, Tremaine Edmonds, and I think it was Tariq Stevenson or Kevin Byard. And there's a mic sitting right on top of them. And I went back and rewatched last year's Hard Knocks with the Jets. And it's like, okay, I see which way it's going to be. I think the shirts look cool. I wanted one of them crew shirts. It looks cool. It's been fun to see that around, to see all these NFL Films things around, shows the buzz around the team. I think my stars of it, obviously Caleb's going to be a star.
Yeah.
But I think DeMarcus Walker is going to stand out. Jalen obviously is going to stand out. I think DJ is going to stand out. But, one thing that Hard Knocks does, they always make you fall in love with one of those rookies who are like right on the line of making a team or getting cut. I wonder who those stories going to be on this because I have no idea who that's going to be.
I don't know, man. I'm so far removed from seeing my last Hard Knocks that I have no clue what it's going to be like. I'm really interested.
What was the last Hard Knocks you remember you watched?
No clue. I have no clue. It's been so long. It just didn't interest me really. This only interests me because it's the Bears. Outside that, I don't care either.
It's not as good as it used to be because we have social media and all these other teams do their own inside stuff. But I've watched it every year, and especially the in-season one is the best one to me.
Yeah, I would just say that it doesn't interest me for the same way as that I can see what the player is doing. Almost at any given moment, some of the top people in the league, they have a post that they have, an article that's out on them. They have a live stream they have to do. So it's like I don't really need to see it. I think you're talking about the Giants football organization. Seeing into what they're doing seems incredible to see. I still don't care enough.
So, yeah, you can see a nigga lose his job in real time by watching the Giants thing. But I can't wait to watch this one. I think it's gonna be one of the most streamed Hard Knocks ever because you got such a rabid fan base who's is thirsty for any content. We were talking about this on the way to the media bleachers yesterday. Like that's also part of the Bears change. Like the Bears, the charter franchise, they've been doing Hard Knocks for 24 years. The Cowboys have done it like 4 times. The Bengals have done it like 4 times. The Rams have done it twice. You know what I'm saying? The Ravens did it twice. The Bears have never been on there. In fact, the Bears only started doing YouTube vlogs 2 seasons ago. So the fact that they've been getting to that just shows you that it's a different time on that front, man. And I just think everything about this team is exciting. And I'm just ready for the full thing, man. Next week they play their first game. Neither one of us will be there. We thought we were going to be there, but there was a mix-up with credentials. With how the NFL processes it, so we will not be there next week. But there's not breaking. They haven't announced it yet, but breaking news: there will be no starters playing next week on defense or offense. There will be no starters. The best thing you're gonna get from that is you'll see Devin Hester Julius Peppers, our man JP will be out there representing Mongo, speaking to the crowd before the actual induction on Saturday. But so I think next week, if you're just really looking at the backups, you want to see with Tyson Bagent, and it hasn't been announced yet, but Tyson Bagent has been taking reps with the twos all week. So I'm putting two together that he's the backup. That he's the backup, and Brett Rippon to be number 3, or he might get cut. I don't know if they're carrying 3 or put on a practice squad. I don't know if they're going to carry 3 quarterbacks on the active roster, but you can see that. You can see the backups for that for next week. But to me, we don't really pay attention. To me, it turns up when the second game against the Buffalo Bills, the first real preseason game, man. So anything else you want to tackle before we get up out of here?
No, I'm good.
We appreciate everybody for watching. The next pod we will do will be after probably week 2. After we do our full second week, we'll do another one and review everything.
Also, don't be a dick on our accounts.
Please don't be a dick. Yeah.
This was the first week. I say that colloquially because they reported. When was report day? Friday?
Report day was Friday. First practice was Saturday.
Report day is Friday. The first practice is Saturday. They had Sunday. They had Monday, Tuesday, and they had a break. They just played a full work week of practice. That's practice. And seeing people do clown faces and like, what are we doing, bro? What are we doing? I don't know why the internet makes people be assholes for. It's no reason. You don't have to. If
you don't have an Abby in your picture of yourself, I don't care about anything you gotta say.
And then why be rude for no reason? Just say, "Oh, I think you. Oh, that wasn't actually a week." Or
with the clown emoji.
Or why even correct? What do you?
Why are you following us to begin with?
Exactly. What do you gain from that by being a dick? You gain nothing, and then now you're blocked. You can't follow me. I don't think you can follow Scott.
You can't follow any of them. You've been blocked on all 3 accounts. Yeah,
all 3 accounts just because you were rude for some reason. Like, why do that? It's unnecessary. So
it's unnecessary.
There's no reason to be rude.
By the way, big shout out to the 80 new followers we gained since the start of camp. Welcome y'all to the journey. Shout out to the new 40 new followers I got on my personal account. Shout out to y'all for finding me because my account is shadow banned. So shout out to y'all for finding me, for joining us in this journey. I will have more Bears coverage on Friday for I'm Not Gonna Hold You in the local hour. Me, JR Bang, Mikey, Dante will be doing a full breakdown of that. If y'all want to tune in at 5 p.m. Central on Friday. And I'm working on I'm Not Gonna Hold You training camp specials. Look out for that before the season starts, man. So y'all know to follow me on all social media platforms at Barberchair Scott. You can follow Flows at Flows Andolini on all Barberchair net platforms. You can follow the Barberchair Network at Barberchair Net on all social media platforms, and subscribe to the Patreon. Patreon.com/Barberchair Network. Every show will be live streamed, even on games. We'll be leaving straight from. We decided to do it back at the crib because I feel like the pods we were doing at the stadium, like we're on such a crunch to get out of the stadium in time that we don't be giving y'all full pods. We want to have more engagements after the game, so we'll be going live maybe like an hour and a half after post game, and we do our videos. We'll be doing that. You catch the live stream. The video will be live, period. The audio will go first on the Patreon and will be available on the free feeds the next day. That is patreon.com/Barberchair Network. That's how it's going to go down this season, man. So y'all enjoy the rest of y'all week. Enjoy y'all weekend. We back at it tomorrow. I'll be there. Joe won't be there for camp. I'll be there. And then we'll both be there on Friday. Neither one of us will be there this weekend. We're taking the weekend off. My knees feel like golf balls. We're taking the weekend off, and then we'll be back at it on Monday, man. So, we up out of here.